In the year 50 BC, all Gaul was occupied by the Romans. All Gaul? No. One village still holds out stubborn against the invaders. One village that I'm gonna build today in Minecraft. And as of recording this voiceover, I can tell you that the whole process took over 80 hours. I've already planned a bit, but before we can even start gathering resources and building, I have to get fully maxed. What I still need for this is an OP shovel and an OP hoe. So now I'm on level 30, it's night again and it started raining, and I'm gonna enchant my first shovel. Oh, Filzer, I'm killing you. Ah. Or I'm not, because I can't aim. But anyway, I can enchant this with Silk Touch, and now I'm gonna get some more lapis. So now I'm back with more XP and more lapis. And again, only one enchantment. And I can get fortune free, very nice, that's the thing I need. And fortune free, also with efficiency, nice. And efficiency, I got really unlucky with these shovels. So now I'm already over an hour into recording this video, and I can finally enchant for the last time. Combine, 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 ran out of levels, combine, so mending, mending, mending. Nice, the anvil broke before I needed it one last time. And now for the last time, mending. And now I'm actually fully geared up. Although this isn't netherite, but I don't have time to make it that. But I also need to do something else before we can start building. And I ran in the wrong direction. Because this villager breeder broke because of the villagers dying. So I need to test out the speed of boats. Okay, it looks like about 1.5 blocks per second. And that means getting 2 villagers home by boat will take about 5 minutes per villager. And I'm not done, the villagers are in and the breeder's working again. There's even a villager standing there right now, a new one. And I'm really excited because there's a wandering trader too. And he sells acacia. Okay, we've already got that. And now I was finally able to start the building process, and the first step of that was to get rid of all of the village that was there before. And I'm just lagging out the server, luckily I'm the only one online right now. Yeah, so Admil just joined, I'm done, I put everything we need around that enchanter, and everything else, except the villager breeder and the fields of course, can be destroyed. This now looks quite clean, doesn't it? And I really like it, it's also lit up. Probably didn't see that in the time-lapse because it's not that interesting. And what I also did was get a hoe because I totally forgot about that when enchanting before. But now I've got one. So now the second and a pretty huge step of building this, which is resource gathering. And I'm gonna need 9 double chests of resources. So let's destroy a tree to make these chests. We've got our chests. And you know what 5 out of these 9 chests are gonna be filled with? Grass. Because in this village, I'm gonna actually do some area elevation. So I wanted to mine grass, but before that I wanted to plant wheat because I need loads of hay bales. And I didn't just wanna make a 10 by 10 field because I'd have to harvest that 30 times. And I'd only get 100 wheat for every time I harvested it. So I just decided to make a field that gives me 1000 wheat. So instead of 10 by 10, I made 100 by 100. And because I'm a genius, after doing this for half an hour, I figured out that it was actually 10,000 blocks. And thanks to Slime God for helping me to plant at least a little bit of this. So greatly appreciate that. I'm just gonna wait for this to grow, harvest it, plant it again, wait for it to grow, and so on while getting grass. So let's start. So it's the morning of the next day. I got my 5 double chests of grass. Here you can see them. And this is all the wheat seeds that were available to me. So now they're fully grown, and I think I'm gonna use a fortune pickaxe in order to mine all of these and see how much I can get. And I did do that, but somehow I forgot about recording a clip afterwards. So this is the next thing I've got. And this feels like a big moment because I just realized that librarians sell glass, so I don't actually need sand for a beacon. So let's activate this one. Unfortunately, only haste 1 for now. The iron farm needs to run for a bit, then we're gonna have haste 2. And in the process of resource gathering, Slim G also showed me his 84 layer creeper farm that produces mad amounts of gunpowder. And after that I battled Slim K, and if he won I was gonna give him a beacon, and if I won I was gonna get 3 double chests of gunpowder. And then I won, but the Slim brothers weren't very happy about that, so I farmed a second beacon to give to them, and also replaced Slim K's netherite helmet that had broken in the fight. This took a few hours, but nonetheless I'd now got access to rockets for weeks. So now it's much later, I've played and done a lot, and here you can see all the materials, or nearly all the materials, I will need for this build. So after the 28th, when we kill the Ender Dragon, we're gonna be able to get a sand duper. So this is gonna be filled with sand. Then I need to wait for some more clay on this clay farm there, and then I'm gonna get some more light grey wool from this. And other than that, I've got everything except hay bales. So now I've harvested the whole field and I've got lots of hay bales, and now I'm definitely not gonna replant that anytime soon because that takes silly amounts of time. But as you can see, I've already started planning out how high which layers of the village are gonna be, and I think now I'm gonna finish mining the one that's going down and then build all of this up. So all the grass layers are now placed or removed, I believe, and I would like to fly up and look at this, but it's another 2 days until we're gonna get elytras and kill the Ender Dragon. And this is absolutely a mob farm down here. You know, when I built this I thought how would Scar light this up, and then I did it the same way. But now I think we can continue by actually connecting these layers to the ground. And I thought wrong, because first of all I'm gonna have to light them up. Now everything's lit up and now I can start connecting everything to the ground. So let's get some of my stone resources. And now I've got loads of the blocks I wanna place in my hotbar, and I can randomly scroll my mouse wheel and place them. And maybe 1.5 hours later or so, you can see I've connected these cliffs to the ground. Also, let's take off the helmet so that you can see me properly. So I've connected these to the ground and I really like the look of this. So yeah, I think that's done. And the next thing to do will be to place the outlines of where all the buildings are gonna be, and also to plan out pathways and trees and stuff. And now it's the next day. Wait, I need to interrupt, because there's now a way to support me and my future Minecraft and YouTube projects via the Koji link in the description, and 100% of the money goes directly to me. And Edmeal has already started building this village, although I think I need to clear up some stuff. And now many hours later, probably way over 5 hours, I'm now done with the wall, and I'm probably not gonna run around for minutes, but just show you a few replay shots where you can see how I did this, and I really like it and I think it was worth it. And then I started building the village, and here's how I did it and why it took way longer than expected. So to start off, I did something that actually happened before the wall thing I just showed you, because I did the layout for where all the houses were gonna be. For that I'd already made a plan before, but once I did it, I realized that there were way too few houses and the area looked really empty. Apparently, a 160 block diameter circle is much bigger than I thought it was. So I made much more house layouts, and now the amount of houses in our village is quite similar to the amount of houses on the picture for Asterix and Obelix. And then, after improving Edmeal's wall, I also improved the roofs he built on our houses, so that they now look like the roofs on the picture. And the trick I used to quickly orient all of the hay bales upwards is to use slime blocks under the hay bales and place them on top of those. Because from XP farming by killing slimes we got tons of slime blocks anyway, and they are great temporary blocks as they can be broken instantly with any tool or by hand. Next up, as the amount of houses planned was now much bigger, I had to get some more materials. And getting all the stone and wood materials wasn't too hard, but when I realized how many hay bales I was gonna need, I was actually thinking about quitting this project. But in the end, I luckily did mine the whole 10,000 wheat field 3 times, and I also had to replant it. In the process I also got access to sugarcane, which would now enable us to actually have rockets, because the only way to get sugarcane in Superflat is by a wandering trader. I also planned out the river that was gonna go through the village, but didn't finish it yet. And next up, I planted a forest. I then built up all of the stone walls in the village, because those were quite easy to make. After that I put hay bale roofs on all the stone houses that would have hay bale roofs, before starting to build my wood walls, which were much harder than the stone ones because I wasn't just randomizing the blocks. But after that I put all hay bale roofs in the village on. Then I spent a lot of time building all the wood roofs, and after that I decided that the outside of my wall wasn't quite finished, and so I put a lot of bushes around there, which were there on the original picture too. After that I decided to design nice chimneys for all the rectangular houses, and first of all they had walls on top of them, but then I forgot the walls on one of them and realized that it looked much better. So now they don't have walls on top of them. Then I implemented 2 little roof windows on 2 of my houses, and then I wanted to start making my paths, but I realized that the slime chunks were still looking awful. So I got tons of moss carpet to spawn proof all the slime chunks without it being so obvious and so ugly. After that was done, I actually did make our paths, and I used the sand tuber for that because I wanted to use sand. First off I planned on only using sand, but then I had to use sand half slabs because I didn't want slimes to spawn on our paths in the slime chunks. After the paths were all done, the village looked much more finished, but it wasn't quite finished yet. First of all, I wanted to have a little field around one of our houses. I then completed the river, and in my opinion the farmland around the water is quite a good idea because it is spawn proof and looks like the soil around the river is more wet. I then also connected all the pathways that went over the river with little bridges, and then I could finally start building the centerpiece of this whole thing, and the way you probably recognized it on the thumbnail if you know Asterix and Obelix, besides the little mini characters. And that was the tree house. So first of all I made an ugly tree stump, and then I built the platform on top of it and built the house. That was quite easy as I had built loads of houses at this point, but the tree stump was much harder. But nonetheless, after quite a few creeper explosions and me going a little bit mad, I'd finally finished the thing, and I think it looks quite good now. And then I used moss carpet to spawn proof slime chunks in front of our village, as that was how I was gonna make the thumbnail. And we all know no one cares about the back of Minecraft builds. And now the village is finally finished, and it looks absolutely magnificent. And talking about magnificent things, did you spot the 3 Asterixes and the 3 Obelixes I put into the last few minutes of time lapse? Because if you didn't, you should probably try to find them. And they are only there for a few frames, so you might have to try it at 0.25 times the speed. Finally, after 80 hours of work, this is finished, and I am gonna fly off of this slime tower and look at it. This was probably my most favorite building project ever. It took the longest. It was by far the biggest build I've ever built, probably in terms of blocks placed, and it's now nearly 2 weeks after I started building this. I even made a whole episode in between the thing and also started something else, a Mind Anciently Brief over 10 hours. You can check out this episode on the left if you wanna see that, and on the right you can see how I beat the game in Superflat.